Hey, welcome to VBAtutorialcode.com. In this video lesson, I'll show you the different data types in VBA. So the first thing I want you to do, just open up the developer tab and view code. This is the second lesson. I recommend you watch my first lesson first, but just press insert and module. You're just going to see module 1 there. I have module 2 because my module 1's already there. And basically, I just want you to just copy and paste all the code from my YouTube video or from my website. So I'm just going to remove module 2 just so I can be at the same place you're at now. Alright, so I'm just going to step through this code. I'm just going to show you the zebra as an integer, and integer is a data type, as is double, long, string, date, etc. So to declare a variable, dim zebra, that's how you declare a variable, and the data type is going to be as integer, so it's going to be an integer variable type. I'm just going to quickly show you what an integer is. So we're going to set zebra equal to 1. It's currently 0. So now it's 1 after you pass that line of code, and then range a18.value is going to equal 0. So a18 right now is blank, and then pass line of code, and it's 1. So zebra equals zebra plus 1. Now zebra is going to equal 2. You could just hover it over it if you ever forget what the variable, what the number is currently at that current line of code. All code executes from the top to bottom. Range A18 is going to equal blank. So these two double quotes right here, that just indicates that range A18 is going to be blank. Now A18 is blank. And now we're just going to set it equal to zebra, since zebra is 2. Range A18 equals 2. And it's going to be range A18.value is going to be zebra plus 1, so it's going to be 3. And then zebra equals zebra plus 1, so zebra is 2. And then 2 plus 1 is 3. And then range A18.value equals 3. And it equals 3 plus 3, so it's going to equal 6. Whatever's on the left-hand side of the equation always equals what's on the right-hand side of the equation. So it's kind of like x equals, and whatever's over here is what x equals. But now let's go on to, I guess, the double and the long variable data types. So this double variable right here, I'm just going to set it to equal pi, so you can see how useful it is. So the double data type, it has 14 digits to the right of the decimal point. It's a much more precise number, and it's much larger. It can hold from negative 50 trillion to positive 50 trillion, and more than that. So the integer variable, we're just going to set that equal to 3.6. And notice how it just rounded it up to 4. So the integer variable, it always rounds up. So it'll round 3.5 up to 4. It'll round 3.49 down to 3. Same thing for the long variable. We just set equal to 3.5, also rounded it up to 4. So the integer variable, the biggest number is 32,767. So to illustrate that point, I'm just going to do a quick loop formula. So I'm going to do until integer variable equals, let's say 33,000 loop, and I'm just going to add integer variable to itself. Alright, and yeah, so I'm just going to integer variable, I put an R in there, whoops. Alright, so integer variable is currently 32,000, and it's going to go all the way up to 33,000. I'm just going to press play, and we get an error. So integer variable, it stops at 32,767. That is the max number that an integer can hold. Just to illustrate that point, the smallest number is negative 32,000. I recommend you use integer variables if you're working with smaller numbers and they don't need to have decimal points, just to speed up like your processing. But if you're working with like precise numbers and large numbers, I recommend the double variable type. It's slightly slower, but it's definitely more accurate. And then so right over here, I'm just going to show you a quick rounding formula. Let's see, let me just do a round down right here. Alright, So range b1.select is going to do round up, and here's the formula right here. It's going to round up a1, and it's going to round it to do 2 digits, so that's 1.56. If you're wondering what like this, just press File, Options, and Formulas R1C1 reference style, and press OK. And see this right here? This is basically the same thing as saying a1, comma 2. That's how my code is over here. But now we're just going to set range A1 equal to 31,415. So range B1.select is going to equal round down, and let's just say we want to round down 2 digits. So since there's like 1 digit there, it'll just keep the same digit. But let's say we wanted like 664. It'll round down to 0.66. But if we wanted, like, if it was at like 665, it still rounds down to 66. Being that it's a round down function, it always just rounds down to the nearest 2 decimal points. Unlike round up, which will round the second decimal point up. So let's just switch this to round up right now, and let's switch this number. Yeah, so it'll be 0.66 and then 0.67. You basically got it. It's pretty simple. Other round downs, you could just also round like 31,415 to 31,000. If you put a negative here, you could also do it by hundredths, just by -2. But over here, we're just going to do a quick min formula. This is how you do a min formula. VBA, max formula, average. That's not really revolutionary. It's just more formulas. Over here, I'm just going to go into date variable. So we're going to set date variable equal to June 19, 2017. Just get a message box with that, June 19th. This is how you add days to days, and then it's going to be 3 days. We're adding 3 days, so it's going to be June 22nd. And then we're going to add 3 months, so it's going to be September 19th. And then we're going to add 2 years, so it's going to be June 19, 2019. And we're going to subtract 42 years, it's going to be 1975. Alright. And then, yeah, so that's how you do years, days, months, addition in VBA. So here's a string. We're just going to set n9 equal to okay, we're just going to set n9 if this equals red, if 14.1 equals red, then it's going to return yes, otherwise it's going to return no. So being that it is red, it returns yes. This is basically a basic if formula right here. And to get this formula, obviously I just switched to R1C1 format and then just copied and paste my normal if formula in here. And just note that whenever there are double quotes in VBA, inside of normal double quotes, like all formulas have double quotes at the beginning and end of it. So in any if formulas, there's also double quotes within those double quotes. So in that instance, you need to use 2 double quotes on both sides. It's kind of like Inception. You need to use 2 double quotes when you're inside of double quotes already, in the event that you're using double quotes, 4 double quotes, etc. And yeah, so I'm just going to paste that value, and if range n9 doesn't equal yes, n9 equals yes, so being that it does equal yes, this is a false statement, so it's just going to go to the end of the end if. And being that it does equal yes, so it's going to go inside of this if statement, message box, it equals yes. Just says that out loud. And then string variable equals n9.value, and message box string value, so yes. That's basically a string variable. String variable data type is just working with characters, letters, text in VBA. And now I'm just going to show you some other formulas that I like a lot. I think they're pretty useful. So over here, we got the sum if formula. Let me just switch back to non-R1C1 formulas so you could follow along. But over here, we got like sum if, and it's going to look up in column H. It's going to look up Microsoft, and it's looking it up in column I. So we got Microsoft here and Microsoft here. So it's 1,000,001. But what happens if like we wanted like everything to the right hand side of any Microsoft, like anywhere. Like what about column J? Like over here, the sum if it's referencing column J, but it's not picking up this extra 1. Why isn't it 1,000,002? Well, to get that over here, you basically just do a sum product. So sum product, it'll look in sum product n1 to n5, and it'll look for anything that's black, and then it looks in the table range, which is O1 to Q5. So that's basically a sum product formula. What annoys me about like VLOOKUP, so say you're doing like a VLOOKUP, and you want to look up like let me just put it right here. So say you're doing like a VLOOKUP formula equals VLOOKUP, and you're looking up black versus over here at 4, and you want to return the first and false. Second. Okay, so see how the VLOOKUP formula just returns the first instance that it's black, and it returns it as 2. That's kind of annoying because you got all these blacks over here, and then you got all these blacks over here, and all these blacks over here. See, the sum down here is 27, which is up here, the sum product formula. I like to use the sum product formula because it accounts for all of the columns and all of the rows with any instance that equals black. It's a pretty useful formula. I don't really see it anywhere. Thank you for watching my video. Check out lesson 3. It's going to be on adding numbers and working with formulas a little bit more, so you get a little bit more comfortable working in R1C1 format.